It is time to prepare. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano. Tonight, we've got some things to discuss, guys. We got to talk about basically a lot of things we always talk about, stocking up on sales as you see them, but we need to start preparing a little harder as we are going to start entering some rough times. I do believe things are going to continue to go up in the grocery stores, but let's go over some of the reasons why. Okay, we've got conflicts brewing all over the world. All over the world, even in our own country, our borders getting flooded. It's like, normally like the left and the right, they swing, different ways on these different matters. No, now it's becoming an issue in all angles. Funny that we are a couple months away from the election when everybody wants to start talking about it. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about it lately, but we've got things going on that we need to make sure that we are prepared for the inevitable, right? These things have gotten too far out of hand, too many stories of illegals coming to our country. And let me say first and foremost that I am all for legal immigration, right? Nothing wrong with coming, if you want to adapt to our culture and our way of living and become a free American, that's fine. There's some things you need to do. There's a process, right? Well, there's a lot of people that aren't going through the process, and it's becoming more and more of an issue. We'll get into that here in just a few minutes, but just want to talk about this, guys, because, we've got things that, we already are struggling in every aspect in life as far as financial situations. Now, it does look like the stock market's rebounding a little bit, but it completely crashed harder than it has in the last couple years, and this was back during the event in early 2022, mid-2022, somewhere around there. I don't get into too much talking about these kind of things as to where whenever we discuss things, it usually has to do with food. Well, this does have to do with food, and this has to do with rising prices on daggone near everything. Okay, now I went somewhere today and I noticed a lot of price increases on different food. I won't give away where I was because I don't like to spoil my video for the next day. Just make sure you tune in at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time as to where we do all of our daily vlogs in different stores or entertainment, things of that nature. And I try to throw in these coffee rants when we have some different news to talk about. It's no playing around now, guys. I mean, we got the U.S. Naval ships. I guess the Abraham Lincoln that I just read about is heading toward the Middle East. It's not good. It's not good. Apparently there was something that happened in Iraq that wounded some of our soldiers. Can't have that. Can't have that. And a lot of this needs to, there needs to be some de-escalation here. If you want my honest opinion, everything, this needs to, with the whole Israel and Iran thing, boy, I mean, it can really get ugly here at any moment, guys. It is getting ugly. And, because, it does pertain to things that are going to happen here in the homeland, right? We're going to see prices go up. This is going to cause more prices to go up on gas. Pretty much if gas goes up, everything goes up, right? As we've noticed, gas has steadily gone up over the last few months. Cheapest I've seen it here now is $3.49. $3.49. It was $3.59, so you could say it came down 10 cents, but I don't think it really matters at this point as I am seeing prices go up. We said this was going to happen. We said late summer, early fall, at best, okay, we were going to start seeing prices go up on a lot of different items. And we are. Meat products. We're starting to see poultry, pork, and meat prices go up again. And they're just going to go up and up and up till we can't afford it anymore. So I say this, and I say this with a heavy heart, that we stock up on deals as we can and find ways to stock up on these sales as you can, because I feel it's going to continue to get ugly. Now, people always, you always hear, well, it's going to get bad before it gets better. Well, at what point is it going to get better? Because it's been getting bad for the last 3 years. I only say 3 years because that is when we started seeing the prices get unaffordable. Okay? During the year of 2020, everybody's still in shock. Things, it was like, what's going to happen? Prices were pretty stable at that point. The problem was finding the products because stores were getting hit with a lot of things because everybody was forced to stay indoors. I have my own opinions of that, and I'm sure you do too. But, all we can do is keep moving forward. As we try to point out different sales, I am kind of doubling down on things within the stores, because when we have events like this, when we have things that are going on, I want to make sure that we are covering everything that we're able to cover, at least as far as prices of things that people are commenting on that are getting unaffordable, like produce. Produce is getting unaffordable, and then when it seems like it becomes at a flat line for a second, okay, then we have a recall, okay, and that's been another problem. Another problem has been recall after recall after recall, and it's like, what do you stock up on? What do you buy? What do you buy? You have to check the online, to see what recalls are happening, and then you have to check the double check and double check again, because you want to make sure that, okay, well, there's been 20, 30 news articles on this. There's probably a grain of truth to this, because it's hard to believe any of the media anymore. I feel like most people are tuning into different vloggers or different people on who have their own channels, like myself, because I have nothing to gain from giving fake news of anything. Right? Why would I lie? And that is what I don't like about the national media, is that they don't care if they lie about anything. Or maybe that they don't lie, they just bend the truth. Right? Because it's never 100%. It's never 100% true. And it's like a card trick. It's like you're looking at this while this is really going on. Right? So much stuff, guys. So much. And I know that there have even been a few more recalls, but it's like, again, I will just say, continue to check the different recalls that pop up. And just, check for yourself. Make sure you let us know down in the comments if you find any. We got to work as a team now, guys, because it is just too much trying to do. I keep thinking to myself to get back down to the daily vlog videos and one video a day, and maybe focus a little bit more time on the one video a day. I have done that some. But guys, I have a lot to talk about, and when these things happen, I want to make sure that all of you guys who aren't watching the national media, which, good job, know what's going on. At least know for a second that, hey, there's a situation, and it could get much worse. I hope it doesn't. You hope it doesn't, but let's face it, over the last few years, the grocery stores have tanked. I mean, it is, and I mean tanked as far as, like, I only give you my business because I have to eat at this point. It's like there is no, there's so much, we show appreciation for a lot of different sales, but don't be fooled. These sales are here because they have to get rid of the product, because nobody's been buying them, because they've been ridiculously overpriced. And in some ways, that's a good thing. That shows that a lot of us aren't paying the price for a lot of these different things. Why do you think those Nature Valley bars are always on sale now? Because nobody's paying $4 or $5 a box. It's ridiculous. Now, as far as meat and produce, I almost feel like they would just rather throw it out, right? Make whatever money you can, charge the extreme amount on it that you can, okay? And then whatever you don't sell, we've already made our money on maybe a fourth of what we sold. And then if it goes bad, just trash it. Like, I honestly believe that is most grocery stores these days. And the sad thing is that it's going to continue to push out mom and pop stores all across the country and around the world. We see it happen every day. How some of our little mom and pop stores survive around here, it's because of me and other people that go there that are like, hey, I want to support my local group here. But that's it. And then when you go in there and you're shopping around for about 20 minutes and you're like, wow, nobody's in here. How do you make money? How are you able to keep the power on? I guess maybe at 5 o'clock you get a rush hour, everybody coming in here and getting meat or something. Now, some of our little mom and pop stores, they stay busy and good quality and everything. Prices are insane. More than what you're going to pay at Kroger or anywhere else. But at least it's going in a better place. At least they're able to stay in business because of this. it's been a lot of our viewers that have been commenting, dealing with local farmers, dealing with different shops and stuff that are buying directly from local farmers. So for one, you know where it came from. You know what's been put on the vegetables or not put on. And we need to do these things more and more. Now we're going into August here. It is a big season for a lot of different farmers. At least around here, we find the little stands pop up and everything. It's good to buy from some of these people. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit more, but in the long run, it's keeping some of these families in business, and I think that's what we need to focus on. That's what I'm focusing on. Whether you do or not, that's your own business. No judgment here. I just pass along messages of things that me and Jess do to try and help our community and not keep giving all of our money to the big major corporations that are very greedy. I agree. I said it. They're very greedy, guys. Today, I'm seeing things again, and I haven't been talking about it as much because I'm trying to show a bit of light in things and just kind of focus on the different sales, ways to stock up, ways to save money. And it's like when you go into a store now and you see every sale price, the regular price, which was the regular price just a few months ago. And as those have jumped up in price from a year ago. Guys, things are doubling in price. From a year ago. It is absolutely crazy. I don't even know where to start. And now we have all this other stuff going on, all of these different events around the world, which we know, if it gets bigger and bigger, and hopefully it does, and hopefully de-escalation, we don't know, but all we can do is prepare for our future, for our family's future, for our friends. Make sure we're checking in on family members we haven't talked to in a long time. Make sure we're checking in on friends. Because whether it gets worse or not, it's always good to be prepared. I know some people are going to leave in the comments, oh, it ain't bad, don't worry about it. Hey, no judgment here. You can feel that way. You can, still, it's good to be a little more prepared today than you were yesterday. And, it gets any worse. At some point, it's going to be like, well, if people start hitting the stores more, there's going to be less and less sales. There's going to be supply and demand. People are going to be racing to the store, right? If things get that bad, which they very well could. I hope not. Who hopes for any of this stuff? Sometimes I read some comments, I'm like, man, we're talking about things of possibilities and things that can happen. Some people sound like they actually want it to happen. You don't want these kind of things to happen, right? The more we continue to get our borders flooded with people who are here illegally, who do not have you in their interest at all, who are taking American jobs. That was very clearly seen in the stock market crash thing that happened yesterday. That was the only thing that I really paid attention to, was the unemployment rates by Americans that were being filled in by a lot of people. I don't have exact numbers, and I'm paraphrasing. But a lot of people that are here illegally that are getting jobs because these places are paying them way less money, and they're working for it. Now, set aside, like I said, I am all for people coming over, helping build our country in different ways, in American liking, right? Because this is our country, right? But it is built on the freedoms of the land, and, there's things you have to pass. There's tests you have to pass. There's things you have to do to live here legally. And that's not just America. America, honestly, is probably a lot easier than some other countries to do this. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't really know at all. I'm just saying, I feel like this is a process that could be easily fixed. And some will say, well, build the wall. Well, I forget who I was watching. I was listening to somebody, I guess it was from 1942 or something. We literally had an army of people at the border. I mean, I don't know how many people are at the border now. Obviously not our army, right? Because there's so many people flooding in. But maybe we should go back to that. Because if there's so many illegals coming in here with that could be a potential threat to our country, then maybe we need to send the army, some military personnel down to the border to help protect it. And it was from like the 40s, I guess, that they had stopped this. So it's been a long time, but before the last like 10 years or so, it was pretty much under control. It's out of control now. Out of control. And who knows? Who knows what plans are looming in other, we hear of all different kinds of ethnicities traveling across the border. I mean, whether a lot of it is true, it's hard to tell with some of the national media. Some of the things you read, you see people of military age traveling across the, over the border illegally. That's another thing, too. All these recalls, and I know this has been in the comments a lot, but is this something to do with all of our different recalls going on all this food? Are there things maliciously being done to our food? I don't know, but it's more recalls than I've ever seen in my life. And most of yours, probably. This is insane. This is ridiculous. We're finding all these different things in food, all the different plastic pieces and all this. And if there was one, right, okay, a machine broke, okay, right, okay. Well, when there's one, that's okay. When there's like a bunch, that's a different story. Then it becomes a trend. So, I've just been reading a lot of stuff lately, and this whole thing with different conflicts with the border crisis, and the conflicts going around across the world, our soldiers getting hurt from something that happened in Iraq. It's just like, man, it's like, here we go again. Here we go again. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like, well, why are you only concerned with food? I'm not. That's why I'm talking about these things. Because I'm concerned with the way the world is, seems like it's just falling apart. And, it seems like we're edging ever closer to that WW3. Right? I mean, and it as to where, who knows? Who would want that? What sensible, I don't even know. It's just crazy, guys. It really is. Just wanted to talk about a few of these things today because, yeah, it all does tie into our way of life, I guess I should say. And it's going to get very expensive. It's going to get very expensive until it all crashes, no pun intended. And at that point, I just think it's funny. Like, so yesterday they're all saying, well, the numbers of Great Depression and recession. Aren't we in a recession? Hasn't this been like a constant downwards or, spiral out of control? People can't afford cars. They can't afford homes. You can't afford insurance for cars. You can't afford insurance for homes. You can't afford to eat. What more is a recession? Until we have people on stands sending out bagged food for $2 or $3, and who knows what kind of food that will be. Maybe we haven't reached depression levels yet. But if we're not careful, if we're not securing our border, if we're not de-escalating all these problems around the world, it could very slip into that kind of situation. And that is why I'm talking about this today, because we need to, I don't know how much one or two people can do, but, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to these things. We need to be able to make sure that we are at least able to protect ourselves, protect our families, and be able to supply for ourselves and our families. So in ending here, I would say we need to prepare. We need to make sure that we have a little bit of a stockpile to get by in case there is some kind of situation. Look what just happened in Florida. I don't think a lot of people were really ready for that tropical storm or / Category 1 hurricane. It brought a lot of flooding. That Hurricane Debbie or Tropical Storm Debbie. And there were some Floridians, some people on the channel that were saying that they thought it might actually get worse than what a lot of people were thinking. Sure enough, I mean, it wasn't like a category 5 or nothing, but it did kind of rip through. Also, all of our thoughts and prayers are with all of you down in Florida and North Carolina. I guess it's been hitting as of recent. So, just be careful. And like I always say, you want to know how to prepare for things? You want to know what things you need to stock up on? Talk to one of your friends or family members from Florida, because that is what they do for a living. We also had someone chime in from Oklahoma, and yeah, they're on like a tornado belt, So and they're always a lot of people who deal with a lot of tornadoes and terrible, catastrophic weather events like that. Oh yeah, you better believe they know how to prepare. But anyway, guys, just wanted to have this short talk with you all tonight. And again, all of our thoughts and prayers, everybody in the area of where Hurricane Debbie has landed. Our thoughts and prayers are with our U.S. soldiers to what had happened in Iraq. And our thoughts and prayers to just everyone around the world, and that this can de-escalate and not expand into something bigger. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.